Is America truly the land of the free, or does a shadow of racism still loom over its cities? Today, we delve into this uncomfortable truth by revealing the 10 cities in America where racism is most prevalent. So let's embark on this journey. Let's challenge our perceptions, and let's uncover the unseen face of America. This list wasn't just plucked out of thin air. We've delved into real data, exploring historical context, recent incidents of racism, and relevant statistics to draw up a picture that's as accurate as it is unsettling. These 10 cities have been identified based on a culmination of factors, including hate crime rates, racial profiling incidents, and racial disparity in socioeconomic status. But it's not all gloom and doom. We'll also touch upon the efforts being made to address racism in these cities, the brave individuals and organizations challenging the status quo, and the positive changes that are slowly but surely happening. Remember, by shedding light on these issues, we can hope to inspire change. Like and subscribe to join us in this mission. Your voice matters, and together we can make a difference. Kicking off our countdown at number 10, we land in Danville, Illinois. In this city, the demographic distribution is predominantly white at 59%, followed by Black or African American at 33%, and mixed race at 5%. Danville's history is marred by racially motivated conflicts, such as the 1883 Danville riot, which resulted in numerous fatalities. Fast forward to present times, in May 2022, the city was once again shaken by a racially provoked event where a shooter targeted a predominantly Black neighborhood supermarket, leaving 13 victims in his wake. Moving beyond overt displays of racism, census data reveals stark racial disparities in education, income, and health. Only about 31% of Black families own homes compared to 75% of white families, and almost 50% of the Black population lives below the poverty line, as opposed to roughly 20% of the white population. Shifting our gaze to number 9, we arrive in Rochester, New York. The city's population breakdown is majorly white at 86%, followed by mixed race at 10%, and Black or African American at 2%. Despite being in the modern era, the persistence of racial issues is evident, as seen in a 2022 incident where a party was organized with racist themes. Racial disparities in Rochester surpass those the entire New York State and the United States, affecting African American and Latino children disproportionately. These disparities extend into adulthood and are reflected in life expectancy rates, with Black and Latino residents facing significantly higher risks of premature death. At number 8, we touch base in Fresno, California. The city's demographics reveal a 44% white population, 19% mixed race, 13% Hispanic, 14% Asian, and 7% Black or African American. With California being home to the highest number of hate groups in the nation, it's unfortunate but not surprising that Fresno, the 5th largest city in the state, makes our list. Over the past 20 years, Fresno has seen a troubling pattern, with majority of Fresno County's reported hate crimes occurring within its borders. These racially driven crimes highlight enduring racial divide within the city, a divide that's further reflected in the vast discrepancies in income, economic investment, property values, and quality of life within the city. So let's start a conversation on how we can collectively make our cities more inclusive and welcoming for everyone. Continuing the countdown at number 7, Trenton, New Jersey. The city's racial composition is marked by 46% Black or African American, 25% white, 19% Hispanic, and 8% mixed race. Unfortunately, Trenton has been branded with an unwelcome reputation as one of the top 10 cities notorious for racial discrimination. One such instance is the tragic story of Jajawan R. Henderson, an unarmed Black man who was shot and paralyzed by Trenton police officers in March 2022 while he was merely reaching for an iced tea. However, the scourge of racism in Trenton isn't limited to police brutality. It permeates the city's housing, employment, and healthcare systems. The COVID-19 pandemic furthered these deep-seated inequalities, as Black and Hispanic residents suffered disproportionately from the virus, exposing the systemic racism entrenched within the city's institutions. Moving down the list to number 6, we turn to Peoria, Illinois. With a racial breakdown of 58% white, 26% Black or African American, 7% Asian, and 7% mixed race, racism is widespread in Peoria. This endemic issue is exemplified by an assistant fire chief publicly using a racial slur and a local business leader making a racist Facebook post about a Super Bowl halftime show. This racism is not only social but structural, contributing to a vast divide between Peoria's predominantly white population and residents of color. These racial disparities are especially evident in the city's Southside neighborhood, where the median family income is less than half of the city's average, with the homeownership rate among black residents being only 32% compared to 76% among white residents. However, the city's future looks hopeful under the leadership of Mayor Rita Ali and the proactive efforts of the Joint Commission on Racial Justice and Equity, who are tirelessly working towards racial justice and equity. Standing at number 5, we have Racine, Wisconsin. This city, where 59% are white, 21% black or African American, and 13% mixed race, is a place where black residents are 12 times more likely to find themselves behind bars than their white counterparts. However, this disparity is not a reflection of crime rates among different racial groups, but a glaring evidence of racial bias within the judicial system. The tendrils of racism in Racine reach far beyond the prison walls. Students of color at Racine Lutheran High School consistently report harassment and dehumanization, with little to no action taken in response. The gulf in income is also striking, with black families earning an average of $27,000, less than half of the $63,500 average income for white families. As such, Racine consistently ranks among the least hospitable cities in the U.S. for people of color, particularly African Americans. In the heart of the Midwest, ranked 4th, is Naperville, Illinois. With a racial composition of 67% white, 21% Asian, 6% mixed race, and 5% black or African American, Naperville's racial dynamics are a cause for concern. Back in 2019, a racial incident at a Naperville Buffalo Wild Wings sparked outrage, where black patrons were asked to change their seats due to another customer's discomfort. A year on, a harmful racial comment was made at a council meeting, targeting Naperville's Asian residents. Despite these episodes, census data shows a disappointing rate of progress in race relations. The number of black residents living in poverty in Naperville is almost triple that of their white counterparts. North Central College students' research suggests that Naperville operates as a sundown town, creating hurdles for businesses owned by people of color. Holding the 3rd position, Milwaukee, Wisconsin is a racially diverse city with 39% white, 39% black or African American, and 10% mixed race. A survey conducted by University among 500 Milwaukee residents unveiled substantial disparities in racial perception. While most white respondents felt positively about the city, 80% of black respondents rated it as insufficient or poor. Race relations were identified as the second most pressing issue across all respondents. Milwaukee's legacy as the second most segregated city between black and white populations in the U.S. underscores the need for urgent intervention. Systemic and entrenched racism in Milwaukee has led to glaring disparities in maternal and infant health, education, disabilities, and unemployment. It's essential to proceed with caution when entering Milwaukee for people of color. At number 2, we have Harrison, Arkansas. Taking the second spot is Harrison, Arkansas, with a racial composition of 95% white and 4% mixed race. Known for its past as a sundown where black Americans risked violence if found outdoors after dusk, Harrison has a deeply disturbing legacy of racism. With a history of race riots in the early 1900s and the influx of white supremacist organizations, city's unsettling reputation is well cemented. The proximity of the modern Ku Klux Klan's headquarters in Zinc further underlines this unsettling legacy. Harrison feels stuck in 1844, with a disconcerting 94% of residents being white and a small black population living predominantly below the poverty line. Other minority groups face similar struggles, with higher poverty rates and fewer employment opportunities. Visitors to Harrison are greeted with distressing billboards promoting white pride radio and divisive slogans like, "Anti-racist" is a code word for anti-white. However, there are ongoing efforts, such as the Harrison Community Task Force on Race Relations, which seek to address and reform Harrison's racist history through government cooperation and citizen participation. Topping our list, we find Waterloo, Iowa. This city, deeply rooted in the heartland of America, bears the harsh designation of being the most racially divisive city in the country, a title not acquired overnight, but indicative of a systemic problem that has dug its roots deep into the city's very fabric. Waterloo, a city of harsh dualities. While it boasts a rich cultural tapestry, verdant parks, and a strong sense of community on one side, it simultaneously remains a city marked by stark racial disparities. This racial tension isn't merely a relic of the past, but a current biting reality that molds the lives of its inhabitants. The numbers paint a distressing picture. Although African Americans constitute a mere 8% of the city's population, they account for over half of the city's arrests. This is not just a statistic, it's a stark testament to the city's profound racial imbalances. A study conducted by 24/7 Wall Street in 2018, examining disparities in income, unemployment, and homeownership along racial lines, labeled Waterloo as the worst city for Black Americans. According to this report, the Black unemployment rate in Waterloo surpasses that of white residents by more than 5 times, while the rate of homeownership among Black citizens lags significantly behind that of their white counterparts. While these figures are contested by some, the persistence of racial disparities in Waterloo remains a pressing issue. Even in areas like education, as seen in recent incidents such as the use of derogatory terms against Waterloo East High School girls basketball players in 2021, the deep-seated racial bias within the city's school system is alarmingly clear. However, amidst this bleak reality, there are sparks of optimism. Local organizations are working tirelessly to bridge this racial divide, with initiatives like the Waterloo Commission on Human Rights pushing to encourage racial equality and challenge systemic racism. Waterloo, a city at the crossroads, remains a poignant symbol of the ongoing battle against racism in America. The story of Waterloo is not just a tale of individual prejudice, but of systemic structures that perpetuate disparity. As we conclude this list, we should remember the lessons it imparts and continue the fight for racial equality in cities like Waterloo, where it is far from complete. The journey through these cities paints a somber picture of America's struggle with racism. We've journeyed together from Danville to Waterloo, each city a stark reminder of the deep-seated issues we face. It's necessary to face this uncomfortable truth, to confront it, and to act. Get involved in your own community, challenge prejudice when you see it. The fight against racism begins with awareness. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's inspire change together. But what about America's most dangerous cities? Check out the video I made on that topic right here. Who knows, your city could be on the list.